All right, the injuries from the game. Greenlaw had groin, he was out, didn't return. Trey Sermon, ankle, same thing. Fred Warner, hamstring, same thing. Deebo, groin, same thing. Marcel was evaluated for head, he was cleared. Same with Bosa. Street had a wrist, didn't return. And that's it. Go ahead.
Any of those seems initially as long-term?
We're not sure. I mean, we're hoping, we'll see on the MRIs with, with Deebo and Fred, but we're not sure yet.
Trey Sermon have x-rays that?
Yeah, they all do. His looked a little worse, but still, I don't know yet. We'll find out tomorrow.
Obviously, there were mistakes there, but did it just feel like this had the intensity almost like a playoff game? It was a lot of weight to this game?
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's the weight because of, the playoff implications and records or things like that. I think it's the weight because of where the two teams are both at in the year. We didn't play. We feel as good of balls we should have early in the year, and I think Minnesota, speaking for them, I think they felt the same. And I think both of us have been playing real good ball these last couple of weeks, and we knew we had some ground to make up, and that's why we believed it would be like a playoff game because of how when two teams are playing inspired and got everything on the line, and that's why it's a good football game for people to watch. It's not always the most fun, intense-wise for everybody, but I was real proud of our guys, how they handled it, and all the different stuff that came throughout the game. Right when it seemed we were good, we weren't, and guys just kept coming.
Not on that injury report was Elijah Mitchell, but how did he do today, and how's his finger?
It looked like it did all right. I threw him balls in warm-ups, and he didn't have an issue with it. You guys could see how he ran. He was a stud today, just how physical he played, and it didn't seem like there was any concerns.
You were one shy of 3 straight games for 40 rushes.
I wasn't. Our goal was to get more yards rushing today, which I think we did, which makes you not get as many run calls, so we'll blame it on that.
What determination on Mitchell made today? You played catch with him, or did you knew?
No, we asked him before, and we asked if he was good. He gave us a lot of confidence, especially here in these last couple of days.
More yards than the other team, or was it more yards than you've been getting running the ball?
No, I knew that we were going to have to, going against that offense and stuff. It wasn't going to be just about controlling the clock and things like that. We were going to have to get some yards to score some points, and that's why, some of the runs that we had, some of the big runs, usually it's tough to get that many called when you have it like that, but guys made some big plays. The D got those 2 turnovers in the second half, which were huge, and we were able to pull it out.
Elijah's strength or quickness, how much is his vision? I mean, he seems like he cuts back and just sees space very well, especially for a rookie.
Yeah, I'd say that's his number one attribute. I mean, he's good in the other areas, especially you mentioned, but he seems to hit the right spot almost every time.
Deebo was obviously emotional on the sideline. He's in the midst of such a special season. Did you talk to him at all? I mean, what do you say to him now that he's dealing with this injury?
I think he was just disappointed. We have no idea what it's going to be like. I don't think it's as bad as you worry. We're hoping it's a low strain, and he feels that it might be. He felt it, which that's what happened to Deebo in the first play of the game versus Washington last year. I think that's what happened to him in the fourth quarter versus New England. You can tell when he feels something, he stops right away. That's why I knew right away on the first step of that something was there. But by the time that he got to the sidelines, you feel like he saved a real bad injury, and we'll have to find out tomorrow.
How do you feel Jimmy Garoppolo played this season?
I thought he started off not great. It took him a little bit to get into it. Missed a couple on that first drive, and obviously that pick was inexcusable. He knows that. But the way he bounced back, I thought was great. He made some huge throws. The way we finished the second quarter, being able to score there. The drive to open up the third quarter. That throw to Juice there at 2nd and 10, that was a huge play in the game. Getting to Trent Sherfield on 3rd down there to start that drive was unbelievable, getting to that spot, and then the unbelievable play by Trent too. But Jimmy played good enough for us to win.
Getting that spot because he wasn't the intended target?
No, that's not where it started.
Camera showed you talking to Jimmy after the interception, and you've said you don't necessarily like to do that. You like to do it on the headsets. Why did that happen, and what were you communicating to him?
I just wanted him to hear directly from me. On the headset, I'm talking to coaches, and they can pass along information, and I just told him the obvious, what he missed, and told told him to let it go, and we're going to come right back to you, and we need you to be aggressive with from the rest of the game, and he was, and handled it right.
Sorry. Obviously, the form didn't look great. You know, we could all see that. But
Which
when you
one?
say, Jimmy's interception. You say inexcusable. You rarely, are that harsh with your quarterback critiques. Why was that so egregious?
I mean, I just wanted to use a bigger word there than I usually use, and I'm a little amped up, so that was stupid of me. He knows it was. You know, he saw it, and, it wasn't a good play call. No one was there. He'd take the sack or he hit the check down, and he knew that, and I knew it because I could see it wasn't a good play call as soon as I called it. So that's kind of what I meant. Like, it's not like it had a chance. So that's we got to count on you when it doesn't have a chance. We don't need those heroics right away, and he understood it pretty well.
On the play, deep ball to Deebo down the right sideline there toward the end of the game, you were running down the sideline there. It looked like you were trying to get. What was going on?
I was just alerting the ref that we were about to double move that guy and that he was going to PI him. Just give him a heads up.
Is this team finally starting to hit its stride with last month of the season coming up now?
What's that?
Is this team starting to finally hit its stride after losing 4 in a row, and now you have 1 month left, and the guys got on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely played our best football these last 3 games, and just in all 3 phases. I thought this one was a huge one because it was a little different than the last 2. Because it came down to the wire, and things went good for both sides at certain times in the game, and then the momentum flipped a number of times. I thought we had the momentum big time at the beginning of the game. That's why I was a little disappointed with a couple missed plays on offense in the pick, because I felt like we lost it right there. And at the end of the second quarter, I thought we gained it right back. Then we were able to score on the opening drive of the third quarter, and then the defense getting that turnover and getting us down there right away. And all the guys that went out in the second half. It was really cool, the adversity our guys kind of overcame. And, right when you feel like you have the momentum, the kick return, which kind of flipped it back. And right when we went on that long drive, we thought we had it. Then we missed the field goal, and our D didn't hesitate. They went out there and stepped it up. And I was just really proud of everyone on the team and everyone involved in this building.
That sequence at the end of the first half, and then you get the ball back and score again, and then the turnover. But when you take over in the second quarter with whatever it was, 8:20 left, there's always, with the way you guys work the clock there around midfield, always, I'm sure, leaves some anxiety with the fan base.
I can tell.
Did that work out exactly like you drew it up and wanted it to be?
Yes, it doesn't always go right, but that went exactly how we wanted it to go. It's 3rd and 11, and they're really good third down defense. We're in field goal range. They have 3 timeouts. We had 1, I believe. Yeah, we had 1. And we wanted to make sure we didn't give it back to Kirk and that offense with 3 timeouts. So when it was 3rd and 11, we'd take the clock down long enough to where if we do get the first, we still feel we have a chance to score. But we're going to make sure if we don't get the first, they don't have a chance to score. So that was the goal on that. But then Jimmy made a hell of a throw to Ayuk, which got us down there. And then I think we scored to Juwan. I think it was the next play. So that worked out perfect. And again, the ball in the third quarter is why you try to lap someone.
Kind of cat and mouse, because you guys went to the line of scrimmage quickly on 3rd and 9. Did you not want them to call a timeout?
No, that's because it was it was right before the 2-minute warning, so I knew I wasn't going to call a play. So we ran to the line to the first one where we went up there and we did a couple motions and didn't snap it. We were trying to get it to get them off sides because we knew we weren't going to snap one. Then there was another one.
Well, it was what would it have been? It was the 3rd and 9. You guys go up to the line of scrimmage. They didn't call a timeout, and you finally call a timeout.
That one we did because we weren't in the right spots.
Okay.
Yeah, the time before it, we went up there, faked it because we knew we had the 2-minute warning. We just tried to draw them off sides. Then we rehuddled, went out. We didn't have the right guy in the right spot, so we called a timeout. Then the next one, we meant to run it down.
Without Greenlaw, and even today at times without Fred Warner, how important has Aziz been for you this year?
Oh, Aziz has been huge. Just the plays he's made. Greenlaw, losing him after week 1, after the first half, Aziz had to come in and play like a starter, and he's done that before in the past, but he's definitely done it this year, and I think he's been one of our better players. The energy he plays with, how he runs around, he's prepared every week, and getting his hands on those 2 balls at the end were great. And all the linebackers, we lost Greenlaw, lost Fred, Marcel came in, and it was frustrating. He had that big hit, so they evaluated him for a concussion, which is understandable, but that was also at the end of the third quarter, so we sat there for 5 minutes when the commercials were going and stuff. Then they blow the whistle, re-huddle, and then they pull him out to evaluate him. So we missed him for a whole drive. That's why, K1 did a great job because we had to play nickel for a lot of stuff, and all those guys stepped it up.
Mitchell that enables him to, it looks like he got 1, but no, he got 3. He gets 3 and no, he got 5. And it seems to happen all the time. Is that something you can coach him to do, or you just have it or you don't?
You try to coach guys to do it, but it's pretty hard to. Guys got to. That's the style he plays with. He runs the right holes. We know he's talented, but that's also what's inside of him. He is gritty. He competes for every single yard. And I always tell him, it makes me easier to call runs. One of the biggest things for me as a play caller, and I tell those guys, is when I see with my own eyes that it's going to be 2nd and 10. So I start to look down and think about what I'm calling next, and then people in the box tell me it's 2nd and 6, and I don't totally believe them because I saw that he was going down, and I don't realize that he fell forward and got 4 yards. And when it's like that, which he does all the time now, you keep going. It helps you keep doing it.
I don't know if you were looking at almost everyone else in the NFC race around you lost, or everyone did. I think you're going to be a game out of 5th place now in the NFC. Is it almost feeling like things are breaking for you? Do you see that?
No, and that's good to hear, but I don't know any scores right now. And it's way too early to care. You look at that stuff at the end of the day, but, there's, what do we have left, 6 games? 6 games? And there's a lot left to be played. Last year at this time, we were moving to Arizona this Tuesday night. So I'm fortunate for that. Hopefully these next 2 days, nothing changes. But we were there for a long time, so we got a long...
Question. How much trust do you have in him? To give him the ball 27 times with a broken finger, and as a rookie, guys like, veterans, you've had trust built up over years. But how did he sort of earn your trust so completely this season?
You got a gut of it through training camp, just watching him every day in practice. And then when Raheem went down, on the second play versus Detroit, just watching him go in right away and just no hesitation. That looked exactly how he did in practice. And but what he did the next week versus Philly and playing through a number of those injuries he had, nothing's too big for him. And and he's honest too. That's why he didn't play last week, because he couldn't fully protect himself, and it was close, but he couldn't. And this week, as the week went, when he said he was good, he means it, and earns your trust.
Obviously, Sanu's out, but what's been happening with Juwan Jennings behind the scenes that's allowed him to be in a position to have the trust to be a target in a key moment like that?
We were hoping for it in training camp, and he was close. And he had a setback to start with COVID. I think he missed 10 days, and right when he started to come on and push for more playing time, I think he had a setback versus the Chargers where he was out about a week and a half. So just really went into the season unhealthy and missed a lot at the beginning. So he just wasn't one of the top guys at the time. And when you don't earn that spot in training camp, it's really tough to get it back because there's not a bunch of competing in practice. You put in a 3rd down plan, and you want the guys who are doing it to get those reps. And the way Sanu had been playing, Sanu earned it. First of all, he was definitely one of our top 3 guys throughout camp. But the way Sanu was playing for us to start out this year, I thought he was one of the more consistent, better guys. And Juwan's been waiting for his opportunity, and it happened when Mo got hurt. And each week he's gotten better and better, and we like having him out there.
It's easy to see why you give the Mitchell so often, but close to more than or close to 30 carries in the last 2 games. Do you have to be cognizant of making sure he makes it to the end of the season?
Yeah, you always do. There's certain things with wear and tear, that people talk a lot about, which I think it comes down to less about wear and tear and more about not getting hurt, which obviously the more carries you get, the more chances you have to get hurt. But I don't always just correlate carries with that. But percentages go up, but we're not going to ever be sitting there in the game and be worrying about that totally. But we're aware of all that stuff, and I think we do mix it around, but we usually go with the guy who we think is most effective on a play. All right, thanks, guys.